Welcome in. Glad you're along, everybody. Glad you are here for the Friday edition of Longshore and McKnight. I'm Barry McKnight, just in under the wire. Warren Matthews is in for John. I hope you can hear me because I got connected about 5 seconds before we get started. Everybody good?
You sound great, Barry. Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you. I got you just
All right.
fine. We
very good.
Got a late entry into the showroom here. You can get this thing on the air in 5 minutes. I do know that. From Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville. Warren is in this morning. John has had a family tragedy, unfortunately, to deal with. And we do wish him well. Send a prayer to him and his family. It is the end of the week, and it is close or getting close to the final week of the month of July, and that means Advantage Car Buyer here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, Alabama, where they have got a lot and a back lot full of vehicles. Everything from the Dodge Ram, which I love, to the Jeep Wagoneer. They got one of those right in here as well. We'll tell you a little bit more about some of the values a little bit later on. But Warren, we are wrapping up the week's worth of conversation at SEC Media Days. A little bit later on, we'll have conversations with Benjamin Watson from the SEC Network, former Georgia tight end, NFL tight end, also our buddy Ryan McGee from Marty and McGee on the SEC Network and on the mornings as well out there. From your perch, what'd you think of it all? Who made the best impression? Who answered the questions the best? What was your lingering thought about the way things went at Tampa?
Well, Barry, first off, I just want to ask you how you thought Tampa handled it. The commentators gave rave reviews for the setup, for the town, for everything, because Tampa's a little not traditional. If you think about Florida, you could have it at Orlando, you can have it Jacksonville. Actually sounds like a more logical place to have it. So Tampa being the host, people were a little apprehensive, but I think all in all, every commentator I heard gave it kudos.
Yes, it was wonderful. And I'm with you on that. If you wanted it a little bit more centrally located, Jacksonville, Amelia Island up there, John and I have talked about that before, but I thought it was wonderful. The venue, Tampa, number one, it has been a long time since I've been to Tampa, Florida. My first football game as a student at the University of Florida, many, many years ago. We went to games all the time when I was a kid in Gainesville, but my first game as a University of Florida freshman was in Tampa, Florida versus the University of California. And
what?
I'm
that's
not
like
sure
before. That's before the years of doing that. I mean, I guess it's like a kickoff classic, even a pre-kickoff classic. That's an interesting alternate venue for a game.
The thing I remember about it was that it was ungodly hot. And I'm sitting there in the stands with my grandfather. My grandparents lived in Orlando. And so they're used to it. They're native Floridians and all that. I was native Floridian. And we kept seeing emergency personnel carting people out on stretchers up the thing because of heat prostration or whatever you call it out there. It is a lot different. I was not tremendously impressed with Tampa then. It's a beautiful place. I walked through the parks which surrounded our hotel and everything. The town is beautiful. The hotel was perfect for it. You can tell it handled big events. We had not plenty of room, but enough room. I don't know that there's a hotel in the world that has plenty of excess room for something like the SEC Media Days. And the big question everybody has about a new venue or a venue that's not centrally located in the SEC footprint is how many people are going to show up, how much media is going to make it there. It's more than I'd ever seen before. It wasn't a problem for, all the different media from Texas and from Kentucky and from South Carolina and all that. So Tampa gets rave reviews from me. Absolutely. And,
that's awesome.
I drove And the drive's not bad. I mean, it's interstate virtually the whole way until you hit Mariana heading back home. So it was all good. It was all good.
You didn't stop in the caverns in Mariana on your way back, did you?
So you know about the caverns? No, I have stopped there.
Barry, I grew up in the Wiregrass. You can't tell me every child went on a field trip to the Mariana Caverns. And then, later in life, you got to stop in Weewa, which is a little bit off the way, to get some Tupelo honey.
That's exactly right. Weewa Hitchcock is in Gulf County. I've told the story before. My dad's family is all from Port St. Joe. I spent, out of all the moving that we did when I was growing up, and we moved a bunch, Port St. Joe was always kind of our home base, with my grandparents and my uncles and cousins and all that kind of stuff. So
have you ever seen the movie Yuli's Gold?
I have.
Okay. I have. So that's the homage to Weewa.
Well, Hitchcock. Yeah.
So,
but other than that, the proximity of Tampa to obviously the University of Florida, which is about 2 hours away. And I thought the biggest impact out of that whole event, that whole 4-day event, was by John Sumrall. Now, I'm biased, I'll give you that, but I thought he just, maybe not charmed isn't the right word, but he swept through that thing, and he made more of an impression, I think, than any other single personality, whether it's Arch Manning or Kirby Smart or Lane Kiffin or anything. I thought John Sumrall won SEC media.
He did, but think about this more holistically or at a higher level. You've got 4 new coaches, and they all came in busting it. You got Will Stein at Kentucky, who said they were going to succeed because of him. You had Ryan Silverfield, who, a lot of people don't know a lot about him because of where he's been, but he's been a coach for 28 years at every level and had great success at Memphis. And he's coming to a program, frankly, it's hard to say this, they're worse than Vanderbilt. I mean, Arkansas is worse than Vanderbilt. In the last 13 years, they've averaged 2 SEC wins a year. Their facilities, for the last 13 years, they've had 25 SEC wins.
I did not know that.
Oh, they suck. And coming off a 2-10, and so I read an article about that where he was quoted as talking about how bad the facilities were, and that they've got to change that, and that he's also going after Walmart and Tyson Foods. They don't have deals with Walmart and Tyson's Food, and they're in Northwest Arkansas. That's impossible. Yeah. So he's got a big job, but he's probably got the easy job. But I think Golish did a great job, they said. Will Stein. So you've got 4 people coming into programs that I'll be interested to see who makes the most progress of those 4.
Well, immediately.
I think Florida should have the best record of the 4.
Well, all of that depends, and we've said it over again. Depends on week 3 of the season.
I think they should be 8-4. I think they should be 7-5, 8-4. Okay. Yeah. Auburn 6-6, 7-5. Kentucky, who knows? So
the one outlier on that whole thing is Arkansas, and I hope Ryan Silverfield brought Memphis into Troy and just absolutely dominated the Trojans last year. And that guy can coach. He's won everywhere he's gone. The problem is, you mentioned Vanderbilt. I think Mississippi State's going to be significantly better. I think their quarterback and running back, Mario Taylor and Fluff Bothwell, are legitimate SEC winners at quarterback and running back. I think Mississippi State will be better. I think the one thing they need in Fayetteville is patience, because they're going to be the worst team in the SEC.
I think five wins is a good season. That means they win some of their non-con and they win a couple of SEC. Yes. So Barry, is this a true statement? And I'm channeling my inner John on this one.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay.
Is the only fan base in the whole 16-team SEC that's not excited about next year's season the Alabama fan base?
I wouldn't say not excited. I would say less excited.
I
haven't
mean,
thought about it.
Isn't that serious?
This is what Warren is so good at. He gives us a different perspective. I think everybody's excited. I think Alabama certainly deserves to have their share of excitement. But I do think they are the least excited fan base right now in the SEC.
Apprehensive, maybe a better word, or cautious, or pensive. I don't know. I went to a state college too. You know, I don't have the SAT words that most people do. But you know, it's just one of those. You go, come on, folks. We went to Final 8 last year. It's.
You want to grab them by the collars and
come
say,
on, it's okay.
Get a hold
and
of
the
yourself.
Truth, what you hear from the team, what you hear from the coaches is, believe it or not, they really don't expect a lot this year. This is not the year. They say next year is the year. So I don't know if that's just the way it is, but anyway, I don't think there's as much pressure internally as there is externally with the fan base. But look across the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
This is about as good as it's ever been all the way across. And I think you point your fingers and say, well, why is that? Is because I'm not going to say it means more. I'm going to say every program's spending, right? And that's what it takes now. If you're a program in the United States and you spend, then you're going to be okay. If you don't spend, you're not going to be okay. So the top of the Big Ten, it looks like just about everybody in the SEC, maybe Mississippi State and Arkansas are at the bottom from a spending standpoint. You've got a couple of Big 12. You got a couple of ACC, and that's where you're going to get your champion. It's going to be in those 25 teams, right? So
my two thoughts about that. Number one, they are spending. If you spend a lot, you should be okay, but you got to spend well. I don't think some of the schools have spent well. I do think, and people don't know a lot of these guys, I do think this is the best year across the board in the SEC for quarterbacks that there has been in 15 years. Tennessee's got questions. I get that. Everybody else has got a good, and Alabama's got questions, but I'm not worried about them. Everybody's got a good quarterback in the SEC. The only questions are at Arkansas and Tennessee, and to be quite honest, at Alabama.
And Florida, because we just don't know who it is.
Yeah,
but I think that they get a pass because everybody thinks Buster Faulkner's the second coming of OC, and I'm sure he's great. But I'm just saying he won't take a snap.
The other thing about it, about what you're talking about, if I can take a flyer on it, is who does Nick Saban think he's fooling? Yesterday, when the SEC, it just means more, the SEC, the linchpin and all that. And I love the SEC. I grew up on the SEC and I believe in it. And I love me some SEC football. But the last three national champions have been from the Big Ten. And, say what you want about Kalen DeBoer and all the wins that he's had and made the Final 8 and made the college football playoff and all that. At Alabama, you're judged by championships. So how does Nick Saban get off by saying, all right, I know the Big Ten has won the last three championships, but it's not really about championships. It's about the length and breadth of the programs and the strength of the conference and everything. And I'm thinking, you coached at a school where the only thing they judge you on is championships. And you expect us to believe you when you say, see, championships, that isn't the be all end all. It's, I didn't buy and I like Nick Saban. I didn't buy that for a moment when he's trying to explain away the fact that the SEC has not won a championship in the last 3 years and the Big Ten has, but that doesn't mean the Big Ten is the better conference.
Let's put it this way. All those pundits and talking heads that he used to battle against, now that he's on the other side, he realized, hey, this is pretty good. I can say whatever I want to. And whether I'm right or I'm wrong, I am who I am. And you can talk against me, but, I'm I am Nick Saban, and you're not.
That's right.
Did you
sounds
see?
like Chevy Chase and Saturday Night Live.
Did you see? Did you see the clip of him when he's talking about Justin Salem?
No.
Okay, so he's being interviewed yesterday, and they had a picture of Justin Salem, the Ohio State quarterback who was at Alabama.
Yeah, Julian Salem. Yes.
I mean, I'm sorry, not just Julian Salem, who's at Alabama for a year.
Right.
And he basically said, there's a coach who played him on the scout team for a year. And what do you think that coach is? And he says he was a dumbass. So I thought that was pretty good.
Well,
he can be kind of self-deprecating only when it's in a way that's shows his still superiority in his mind. So
yes.
But yeah,
we are scrambling to get on the air. It was down to the last 5 seconds. I knew I was going to get on there, but I knew it was going to be close. And Warren is sitting in for John today. Hopefully, John will be back early next week. We are at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, Alabama. And we've got a lot to talk about all the different vehicles here. Plus, we've also got several interviews. And in the spirit of that, coming back, I'm going to situate myself, settle in a little bit more. When we come back, we're going to talk with our buddy Ryan McGee. John was a part of that interview up at SEC Media Days in Tampa. We'll line up our interview with Ryan McGee from the SEC Network and Marty and McGee coming up after this timeout. It's Warren Matthews in for John Longshore. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Hey, where's the beer guy?
We've been together long.
Bud Light here?
Yeah,
Bud
would you
Light?
first?
Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Don't you stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun.
Hey, got your Bud Light.
Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light.
What I miss?
I have no idea.
Chances are there's a pack nearby. Fortunately, the same applies to beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills. To avoid going in circles, make note of recognizable landmarks, like that.
What's wrong with going in circles?
Different circles, Ross.
Okay.
Head for the mountains.
Summer's here. And so too are its many challenges. Heat that won't quit, beers that won't fit, hammocks that won't hammock, screen doors that appear out of nowhere, flips that flop a little too much. That's why it's important to keep it simple. Keep it cool, keep them coming, and keep it easy. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light. Summer's here. And so too are its many challenges.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the River region purchase.
Welcome back to SEC Football Media.
Destin Connection, because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
Okay, welcome back to SEC Football Media Days 2026 live in Tampa. We're with our friend Ryan McGee. You know him from Marty and McGee on Saturdays. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, everybody thinks my first name is Ann. Marty. And actually, people think my first name is Marty. My daughter is in college, and I went to a game at her school in South Carolina, and we're going through the grandstands, and everybody's yelling, "Hey, Marty! Hey, Marty!" And my daughter's like, "They think you're Marty." I go, "No." I said, "They think the name is Marty McGee." And so, yeah, I get to all the time. We look so much alike, right?
Yeah, that is true as well. Yeah. You had so much success or so much notoriety here at SEC Media Days. You guys really since the biscuits and cornbread. Was it been 8 years ago?
It was 8 years ago. You know what? So the craziest thing about biscuits and cornbread is we threw it out on Marty and McGee on ESPN Radio.
Right.
And we're like, hey, we're leaving for Hoover, Alabama tomorrow. What should we ask the coaches? And some guy called in, and he goes, y'all should ask him biscuits or cornbread. And we still to this day, we begged on the show, hey, whoever you were, call in, and we don't know who it was.
Yeah.
But that thing changed our life because it was 8 years ago. And and what's crazy is that was in 2018.
Oh, my gosh.
The only coach left is Kirby.
Since 2008, yeah.
The only head coach left because we're thinking about, do we do biscuits or cornbread again? And I'm like, there's only one coach left. I was like, we got 15 guys that haven't been asked that question. So yeah,
kidding.
So yeah, it's crazy.
In
Right?
this part of the world, that's a great question.
He's the loud. It is, and it's a very important question.
Yes,
and it's and the most Nick Saban thing ever was that we asked all those guys a question, and for the most part, they were like, "Oh, biscuits. You know, my mom makes great biscuits or cornbread." And Saban went on for like 10 minutes. And he was talking about, a biscuit is got a lot more, it's versatile. You can use it for this or use it for that. Cornbread is just like one. It was like he was breaking down five-star DB recruit.
Has he ever had anything that was not completely thought out?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
He's never done anything off the cuff.
That's what I said. The most Nick Saban thing ever was that we asked him this jokey question, and he spent a solid 8 minutes breaking it down for us and educated us. I learned something.
So, Ryan, if you ask us, biscuits or cornbread, our minor league baseball team is the biscuit.
I know.
I know. We're big biscuits guys.
No, it's one of my favorite go-to. You guys know I wear a different minor league baseball cap every Marty McGee when we're in the studio. And one of my favorite go-tos is I've got, and the biscuits actually, I went to a game one night and I bought a couple hats and had a biscuit, and then they had a little biscuit stand.
Yeah.
And man, what a great ballpark.
I love it.
And the whole thing where you walk past Hank Williams Sr. and you go to the ballpark and I went out to the scoreboard and the train was going by.
Yeah,
I'm like,
hit a home run and hit the train.
I'm like, what else could you possibly want in minor league baseball? But yeah, that's one of my go-to. I was sitting on the beach in North Carolina wearing a Montgomery Biscuits hat. 8 days ago, and some guy stopped and asked me what it was. So I'm still selling hats.
That is a country music lyric if I've ever
heard it. Oh, man.
Well, let me ask you about this because it's something that we brought up with Marty. Is there any sort of self-realization, some moment of epiphany for you and Marty together at one of the different venues you'll go to, and you look in and you tell each other, you say, "Look at us, huh?"
Oh, dude, no, it happens.
Yeah, really?
It happens all the time, and he and I did with the national championship game. It was the 2-26 where it was the last play. We had done the show.
Yeah.
We did the show at the national championship game, and I think we had Jeff Foxworthy on the show, and we're at the Mercedes-Benz stadium, and we got this amazing backdrop behind us. And literally Foxworthy got up and, "Man, I love watching your show." And so said he got up and left, and I think we had Saban on, and during a commercial break, I looked at Marty. I go, "Do they know that we're here? Like, do they like? And oh, by the way, they pay us in American dollars.
Yeah,
So, but it's something that we talk about all the time. Is Ernie Johnson always says that you have you have have to jobs, you have get to jobs. Jobs you have to do and jobs you get to do. And my job and Marty's job, our job is to remember that we have a get to job, and that we get to be in these positions in these places that most people don't get to be. And so our job is to bring them with us, right? And so when I'm writing a column, or if I'm doing a feature story, or if we're doing the show, I feel like my job is to make the person sitting at home that can't be with us feel like they're there with us. That's my job in everything I do.
We've got so many shows and people that do interviews, and it's X's and O's.
Yeah.
It's football
Yeah.
talk. But what separates you guys is just that homespun. Tell me about your life. Tell me what's going on. What is Alex Golish do away from football?
Yeah, we just had Golish in a room with us, and what we were talking to him about was I was in New York a couple weeks ago, and for folks that don't know, he family immigrated here from Russia when they had the revolution, and he or attempted coup, and he grew up in Brooklyn. And I was in Brooklyn a couple of weeks ago, and I thought about it because I'm like, where in the world did he play football?
Yeah.
And so we asked him about that today, and he was telling us about, it was public school, whatever, 66 or whatever it was. And it's a Nerf football, and they're playing in the street. It's like the picture you see of Willie Mays, playing stickball in Brooklyn. And so that's what I kind of thought was him and throwing the Nerf football and playing tackle football on a concrete playground at this public school. And that's how he fell in love with football. And so, to me, that's the gift is everyone here does such a great job of talking ball and breaking it down. And, who's going to be the starting quarterback and what's your schedule look like and how do you feel about a 9-game schedule, all those things. But then when they get to us, we're afforded the opportunity to maybe go somewhere different. And again, you guys have seen our set. You kind of walk in there and they kind of relax, and I think so we're very, very fortunate that we get the opportunity to ask those kind of off the beaten path questions. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Yep.
Sometimes especially we have 5 rookie coaches in the league this year. And those guys, usually the first couple of years, especially the first year, they know what they're supposed to say, and they want to hit their talking points, and we have to kind of lean them, about year 2, we usually have them broken in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. My background, I am the radio play-by-play voice for Troy University.
Absolutely. Yep.
I have had a long relationship with John Sumrall.
Oh, yeah.
And I get the feeling, all respect to Tulane and everything, I get the feeling that he's about to be unleashed.
Yep.
Upon the Southeastern Sporting.
I
that's
I feel the same way. And my favorite part is because I just love college football as a whole. And I grew up on, what we used to call 1AA campuses and Division II campuses. And my dad was a college football official. So when I was a kid, I was going with him to small college games.
Name some names.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're going to Lenore Ryan, right?
Nice.
We're going to Carson Newman.
Hey.
So my dad in our house, we had one wall in our basement, and he had a pennant for every school that he'd ever worked a game. And we had a Troy State right there in the middle of it. And so that's how I grew up. And so what I love is watching these coaches. I didn't know this till I went to school at Tennessee. Was there's the SEC fan that's all they watch. Like they think there shouldn't be a 9-game schedule. There should be a 12-game schedule. They think it should just be conference games. I remember when I was a student at Tennessee, we played UCLA my freshman year, and everybody's like, "Oh, whatever, UCLA." I'm like, Tommy Maddox is really good, and we got to go on the road. But my point, I say all this to say, I love it when a coach that we've watched, because I love college football, and I ride that ESPN app all Saturday watching everything. Through the bottom 10, I watch a lot. But my favorite thing is to watch these guys be unleashed at the highest level, and watch people be surprised. Well, who the hell is this guy? Well, he's really good. Yeah, Sumrall is, and we know it because we saw it. And so it's to me, I love watching, and that's why I love Kalen DeBoer's story. I love these guys. Kalen DeBoer 15 years ago was driving the bus and making sandwiches at a truck stop for an NAIA school, and now he's the coach at Alabama. Like that. Like I love those stories that you can. In this industry, as much money as there is, you can still move up that ladder like that. And so I'll root for those guys. I want those guys to succeed.
Love it.
All right, Marty, they say you got to go. I know we're hopping around all over the place. 2-word answer. What coach are you most looking forward to hearing from this week?
I I can't. I have a complicated relationship with Lane Kiffin.
I knew you were going to say that.
I don't know if y'all heard. I did a documentary about him that he completely burned to the ground about a week later. But I can't wait. I've not seen him since, so we'll see how that goes.
Thank you so much, Ryan. We really appreciate it. Know you got to go, but man, thanks for your time.
Hey, anytime, boys.
Thank
Appreciate
you, buddy.
it. See you down the road. Yes, sir.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with one of their clinics and take advantage of physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solution services. Get back in the game, get back to work, and get back to life with Phoenix Physical Therapy. To find a location near you and to schedule an appointment, go to phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. That's phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. Hey, you want your property looking its very best this spring and summer, and River Region Straw has premium long-needle pine straw to make that property pop. You're not buying sticks, stems, or pine cones. You're buying premium long-needle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the region, full of color that will last all season long. And now River Region Straw has a fourth location in Chelsea on Highway 280 to go along with their locations here in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn. No order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. To get your River Region Straw, drop by any of their 4 locations or give Kenny a call or text today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959, and have the best-looking property this spring and summer with straw from River Region Straw.
Back
All
again
right,
live.
Barry, that was gold. I'm just going to tell you that's the good stuff.
Yeah,
That was gold.
I love that kind of stuff. We have had, good fortune to get a lot of coaches on down through the years and some great players. Hopefully, everybody got a chance to listen to Zabian Brown, the Alabama defensive back, who was with us live. But talking with a lot of our guys. I mean, we've known Ryan McGee, we've known Marty for a long time, and it's good to get a chance to talk with all those guys. And I had forgotten about Ryan's difficulty with Lane Kiffin before. All that turned out okay yesterday. Kiffin was fine. I didn't, maybe because Texas was on the last afternoon, I didn't think they had a huge splash or anything, although Arch Manning is certainly the darling child and all of that. And I think he'll be as good of a quarterback as there is in the league. But it's all over with now.
So, Barry, what did you think about how they spread it out, good teams over 4 days? They used to front end it, it seemed, where, the top teams were on the front end, they made the splash, and then by the time you got to the last day, it was just kind of a whimper.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you had LSU and Texas on the last day. That's a big deal.
Yes. You have to have somebody, I hate to say it like this because all programs have value, somebody significant on the last day to keep people there, right? To keep people interested. My main thing about all of this, I mean, I'll take it as it comes. Whatever they do is fine. We'll cover it and all that. My main takeaway is this. From the get-go, we used to get it done in 2 days. but that was when the league was 10 teams. Yes, John and I have been at it long enough to where we covered SEC media days when it was just 10 teams. When you go to whatever what they did after that, you can still do 12 teams in 2 days, 14 teams, 3 days. It's 16 teams. I'm just here to tell you, you can get it done in 3 days. The thing to do is, if you're going to get it done in 3 days with 16 teams, you can't bring 3 players. I love the players. I'm a players broadcaster. I love our players at Troy. It's one of my favorite things about it is to work with student athletes. But you don't need to take 3, mostly because it makes it too big. It makes it too long. I know the SEC wants 4 days because they want national awareness for all those 4 days. But they can get it all done in 3. They can absolutely dominate the national collegiate sports coverage for 3 days, or you can have it go an extra day and people are like, Arkansas is on this morning. Who else? Mississippi, it's do it in 3 days, pack it in, have just 2 players apiece. I know the players that Alabama brought. I know the players that Auburn brought. I couldn't name all 3 players from any other school, and I pay attention. That's the only thing about it.
So, Barry, I was getting reports back to Vision Control from Gurn Jr. And I did he tell you his? I don't think he told you the Marty story. Did he tell you the Marty story?
The Marty Smith story?
Yes. Okay,
No.
he did not. So this is breaking
Maybe
news.
he did. He's got so many stories.
No. I don't think he did. This is day 1.
Okay. All right.
This is day 1. He's down there setting up.
Gurn Jr. is the first one of us down there.
He's there setting up. After the show, he goes over and sets up, and he calls me back and says, "Dad, this is what just happened. I had to go to the bathroom." So I'm walking to the bathroom, and you all have your media credentials on, right? You have gets you access to all the areas and things like that. Well, Marty and his assistant are walking to the bathroom, and Marty does not have a media credential on. And the security guard would not let him cross into the area to go to the bathroom. It says, "Excuse me, sir, you cannot come in here. You don't have a media credential." And the assistant's like, "Wait, it's, this is Marty Smith. This is SEC. This is as big as it gets." And Warren said you could just tell he was about to explode. And then he goes, "Well, tell me where the I can go to take a without a media credential." And that
sounds good.
Like you've got production, you got a production assistant guy on a YouTube show and getting to go to the bathroom, and Marty Smith's off limits.
Now, I did see Gurn Jr. with Ric Flair.
He is with Ric Flair, and was
afterwards. I was looking on. I follow Ric Flair on Twitter. Go sue me. And I kept looking over and over and over again. This was on Monday night when I'd gotten there, and I kept looking over and over on Ric Flair's account, saying, "Hey, I just got my picture made with Gurn Jr." But I never did see that.
Yeah, well, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes
he doesn't realize.
It doesn't really. Right.
Yeah.
But when he says, "Dad, you're never going to believe who I had my picture made in this restaurant." He was eating dinner with a buddy, and I never would have guessed it. And then he gave me just the woo, and that was easy enough to figure out. And I said, "Damn, he's still alive."
I don't know why this happens. With John. Again, Warren Matthews is in for John today. John has stuff to deal with. John hates wearing a media credential. Hates it.
Really?
I don't know why. The first day that we were on the air, I had my media credential on during that thing, and everybody says, "Hey, how come you got your media credential on and John does not?" John keeps his media credential around. He does not wear it. I don't think he wants to be identified with other members of the media, and I probably get that in a lot of ways. But he'll run between commercial breaks at a great spot right next to the bathrooms, or he'll go run, do this or whatever, and he'd have to come back and get his media pass so he can go around and all that kind of stuff. And I'm thinking, why don't you just wear your media pass? And he says, So yeah, I get that. I get that because a lot of times John will go off and do something, and I'm working or whatever, and he'll come running back and say, "Dang it," or something like that, and he'll go run, grab it, and come back on it and do it again. Some people are like that.
All right, Barry, take us behind the ropes. How do you get people to come on? I know it's kind of a free for all a little bit, but what take us there? Put us in your shoes as to what's going on behind the scenes.
To John's credit, and we're not going to go too far into the weeds because I do have a full-time job and I am not able to spend just a ton of time away from being on the air to get guests.
Sure.
But all that John does. John does a really good job of priming the pump, so to speak. He'll get in touch with people. It's because of John's advance work that we got Marty and we got McGee, and we got we ended up getting Zabian Brown and some of that kind of stuff. Benjamin Watson, who we'll have a little bit later on. A lot of that is pre-done stuff. But for instance, because this was spur of the moment. And again, it's different than when we were on radio, because radio, John could just go run off and I'd talk for a while. Now we're on camera. You see John jetting off over here and coming back here. We had Connor O'Gara on from OG Kickoff. And evidently John had told him, look, we may get an Alabama player. He's right over there on another station. So when he does, we're going to have to let you go. And Connor's cool. He said, yeah, that sounds fine. Well, John had talked to the Alabama people and said, hey, we'd love to get Coach DeBoer, but we understand he's busy. Can we get Bray Hubbard or can we get Zabian Brown or somebody if they happen to come by? And they said, yeah, we'll look out for you. And so John was over there working it just a little bit because we saw Zabian Brown, and John went over there and let him know, hey, we're going to have an opening over here if you can come get him on. They were looking out for John anyway, but Zabian Brown gets done with his interview, puts his headsets down, and John motions to the guy. The Alabama guy is very competent. His name is Aaron Jordan, who handles all of that. And Aaron, who I've known for years, he says, okay, come on over. And so we get Connor O'Gara says, I know how it's played. He loses the headphones. John shuffles him out of there, shuffles in Zabian Brown. This is live. We're right in the middle of the segment and all that. And it just works. I would say it just works out. John did a good job of getting everything set up. That, hey, if this guy has a moment, and believe me, there's 170 different media outlets live at that moment from Digital Drive, and John had set it up to where we could get him in there, but it doesn't just happen. You have to work.
Well, that was an excellent interview. I mean, that's always those kind of interviews, the ones we just showed with McGee, and that's that's my favorite show, sports show on TV. I will wake up, drink my cup of coffee, feed the dog, and I will go watch Marty and McGee on a Saturday morning. Yes. Anytime during the year, even if it's the most random, non-football season type stuff. So I truly enjoy it.
It's is good stuff. Yeah, we enjoyed it as well. It's for 2 hours, it's like drinking through a fire hose, but there's a lot of beforehand. And of course, afterwards, Gunnar Jr. is really good. He's there to record, some of the other interviews. In the next hour, we'll have Benjamin Watson to join us. That was recorded. So there's a lot going on. And a lot of it is, quite frankly, prior relationships. We know a lot of the guys. We'll ask somebody, hey, tomorrow, can you stop by and da-da-da. And all of that, but it's constantly working the angles and all that, because I wish in our little corner over there and with our little production, we could really give you a sense of the scope of everything, because there are over 8,000 media members. There are 16 head coaches. There are 48 student athletes and all of the people from the schools media relations department, their creative people who are, filming the players going to and from, and you've got all of the SEC people making sure everything runs well. And you had for the first time in forever, they had enough security, to be honest with you.
They got rid of Legend.
The only
they ran
outlier who made it in there. We were eating dinner. It wasn't me and John. We were eating dinner on Monday night when I first got in at the restaurant in the hotel. And the guy I'm eating with, he says, "Hey, behind you, do you know who that is?" And I'm sneaking a look over the booth. And I said, "No." He says, "That's Legend." And I did not know who he was. I did not. I said, "Who is that?" He says, "Oh, he's a caller on Feinbaum and da-da-da. I can't believe he's here and he's got a media credential around his neck." And I really couldn't either, because, that's the reason why you have these things is, to pass it along. He has no media qualifications. He's a fan. And then I found out later on that he got chucked out of there. And for some reason, that made national sports news. He should have gotten chucked out of there. It was not.
That's funny. So Missouri, was Missouri day one? When was Missouri?
Yes.
I'm disappointed they were day one, because I really wanted you to go in there and say, "Hey, Coach Drink, Barry McKnight, Troy University, we're going to kick your ass."
Yeah. Your thoughts. Yeah. That kind of a thing. We've done that before. And they're always good. We had, who was it? I think it was Barry Odom was the coach at Missouri when Troy played them a couple of years ago. Troy's beaten Missouri before, of course, famously at home. And he was really good about it. I did ask him, in the main media room about, Troy and the challenge they provide. And he was very good about it. He said, "Troy will provide a good opponent and we have the utmost respect." And it was a good game. But Lindsey Bonner, shout out Lindsey Bonner, WAKA CBS 8 sports director. She and John, do the lace up and all that stuff. Lindsey Bonner asked John Sumrall in the main media room about what Troy University meant to him. And he was great. He said it means everything.
That's awesome.
The thing is, though, a couple of things really kind of struck me, just reactionary stuff for me just when I'm seeing stuff. Because I wasn't in the media room when that happened. I never did get a chance to see Sumrall. He was busy, I was busy, and it was a madhouse. But obviously, he's been a close friend. I've worked with him for, 2 stints when he was an assistant and, of course, as a head coach. And he's talking about, the people. Troy's a special place. It's a good group, it's a cool little town and all of that. He was at the Morgan Wallen concert on the second day. He had split the suite with the basketball coach, Todd Golden. And he said the second day when he had the suite, everybody in there was a Troy person. And I'm thinking, hello? I would have, he never said anything. He said about what a cool town it is, and it is, and about what a special place
you ghosted him on he texted you and you ghosted him. You thought it was a different number. He's got a different number now.
It was painful. No, I'm just kidding. The other thing was that really struck me day before yesterday. John and I were doing the show. We were live. We were busy. And our location was right next to the men's room, which is the best place to be, by the way, because you get all the foot traffic. You can say, "Hey, when you get out of the bathroom, can you come over and be on the show with us?" and all that. They just happened by. And we were right across from the ESPN green room. We mentioned it on the air, which is not a special room. It's just where all the ESPN people go to hang out and wait until their next hit on the network or on the SEC network or whatever. And they check their makeup and fix their tie and just eat or hang out or whatever. And we're talking about something. And out of the green room, right across from us, 15 feet away, holding a cup of coffee, was Nick Saban. He comes ambling out of there, takes 5 steps out of the green room, and he's just looking around with his coffee and everything. And it struck me because, number one, that's the first time I've seen Nick Saban at an SEC media day. It's where he didn't have about 140 people just circled around him. It was just him. It was only about 30 seconds, and he's there with his cup of coffee. And I'm thinking, he's at SEC Media Days, and he's just standing there by himself. And number two, you know, Saban is a rule follower. He's talked about that, about the SEC schedule or about recruiting. He says, just let me know the rules and I'll do it. He had on his media credential, unlike Marty Smith with Gurn Jr. He had on his media credential. Gurn saw him. He had on his media credential, and I thought, if there is anybody in this entire complex who does not need to have on a media credential, it's Nick Saban.
That's right.
And yet there he was and all that. It was just, I mean, it's not that he's not popular. He's extremely popular. But I think if anybody knew he was there, except me and John, and we saw him and Gurn, they would have scrambled around him. The other big thing, and I said this the other day on the air, the media credentials we get are like a license plate. They're huge. They're on two hooks, so you don't flip your media credential and say, hey, can you flip it around? They're two hooks. Best thing about it, they had a picture of you on there, and they had your name in big, huge font. I've got mine over there. I wish I could reach it, which is great for John, because somebody would come up, hey, John, how you doing, and everything. And John, who is famously terrible with names.
Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy.
Hey, man, good to see you.
Hey, man.
That's it. You know, I'll be up there with him. I'll talk and, hey, guys, how you been? What you been up to? So what's going on? Hey, great to see you, man. It's great and everything. The guy will walk off and John will say, who was that? Now, John can kind of, flick his eyes down. Hey, Corey, how are you, man? It's great to see you again, Corey. Man, what have you been up to, Corey? He's been able to slough that off, and he never was able to before. I'm a big fan of those media.
So Barry, let me tell you what I do with John. We'll be at a function, something like that. He doesn't know, somebody's coming up. I'll lean over and whisper in his ear and say, Robert. It's really Jim.
I don't do that because I've done that before with him.
I like to see him say, yeah, Robert, how you doing? Well, it's Jim. Oh, hey, yeah. So I'm a bad person. You're not. You're a good person. I'm a bad person.
And I'd look at him like, how do you not remember his name? You've talked to him. It was a good thing to have, and it's good to catch up with everybody out there. Coming up in the next hour, we've got Benjamin Watson. I didn't realize he was a freshman at Duke before he transferred to the University of Georgia. I did not know that. I think he's from Rock Hill, South Carolina. Transferred to Georgia, where he was an all-conference tight end, played in the NFL for a long time. He was really good. I didn't know this until I did a little research. We had two former NFL players on the show in the 2 days, Damian Harris and Benjamin Watson. They both are sharp as heck. Benjamin Watson, at the time, I don't know if it's still the case, they have the Wonderlic test for all the people in the combine, or all the people, who are in the draft. And he had the second highest Wonderlic test ever recorded at the NFL combine. He had a 48.
Wow.
Which is, if you can sign your name or you remember your middle name or something, you got a 12. He got a 48. And that always struck me. He is sharp as a tack. It was a really good interview with him as well. Just really good stuff the entire time.
I thought the Wonderlic test is like the big screen where they had the splotches
that's the Rorschach test.
Rorschach. Okay. I'm like, how do you fail that test? It's usually what you see. I see some clouds. I see a fire truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me, when I was on Jeopardy that time, I was part of the first game, the first match I did on Jeopardy was the first time they ever had Final Jeopardy, which was a video Final Jeopardy. They never did that before. I was the first, and it was a black and white photo from 1924 of a big aluminum bowl, big, like a dome stadium or something like that, except you couldn't really tell the size. And it said, this in 1924 was the first of its kind in Boston, Massachusetts. I did not have the first clue what that was. If they'd asked me, I'd have had a better shot. And so I put that it was a colander because I couldn't tell how big it was. It looked like a colander, you know, a strainer. Like
yeah, sure. I know, yeah.
It turned out it was a planetarium. And I'm thinking, boy, how could I? That's like the wrongest answer. And of course, they have, believe it or not, an undercurrent of Jeopardy fans on the internet and their own chat room and everything. They were skewering me. Dude from Alabama thought it was a colander, it was a planetarium and all that. So, you know, the Rorschach test doesn't really tell you anything. It looks like a bat. Man, it's a dog. You know, what are you doing? But Watson was good. It was really interesting to talk with him. We'll have that in the second segment of the next hour. We are at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville, where the Red, White, and Boom sales event continues through the month of July. They got new 2026 Jeep Cherokee Laredos up to $7,000 off MSRP and as low as 4.9% APR. If you haven't seen them, the new 2026 Ram 1500 Tungsten, take a look at that. Get up to 25% off MSRP. That's, well, I'm not going to give you the number because there are different models, but up to 25% off. The 2026 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited, that's up to $12,500 off of MSRP. Everything from the 3500 Ram Bighorn, the 2026 Jeep Wrangler Willys, the 2026 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon, which is really my favorite Jeep because it is so stylish, and yet you can do anything with it. All going on, not only a couple, but they have got dozens of every model on the main lot, off to my right, in the back. They've got your vehicle here because at Stivers, nobody stocks more, nobody sells more than Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville. We'll take a break, get ready for the second live hour of Longshore and McKnight. Without John today, Warren Matthews is in. I'm Barry McKnight in Prattville. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Have to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
Spring is in the air, and your garage door deserves a fresh start. At Dixie Overhead Door, we're helping you get ahead of wear and tear with a $49 garage door tune-up designed to keep everything running safely and efficiently. Even better, it's included for Dixie Cares Plan members. Noticed a problem? Save $50 on any repair and let our trusted team handle it quickly and professionally. Count on reliability, savings, and service you can trust.
Big news for Central Alabama travelers. Getting to Texas just got easier. You can now fly nonstop from Montgomery to Houston with United Airlines. No long drives, no layovers, just smooth direct travel from your hometown airport. Whether it's business or a weekend getaway, Houston is now just one flight away. Spend more time there and less time getting there. Fly nonstop to Houston. Fly MGM, where travel feels easy. Book your trip today at flymgm.com.
Back again live. We're back again live. Great to have you with us here. It's Longshore and McKnight from Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram with Warren Matthews here alongside. There is, as far as the weekend goes, it's not a, super busy weekend in the world of sports. Baseball is back. Mostly it is, kind of the post-SEC conversation. All of the student athletes that play football, they've been on campus all summer. So it's not as though, hey, we're having report day. They do have a report day, but everybody's already reported.
All right, Barry, this is the week. All right, when do they report? Like the first, right at the beginning of August, right?
It's at a lot of schools, and everybody's different. It's like the first Wednesday of August.
Okay.
But again, that's when everybody gets together for the first big team meeting and you get ready for preseason camp and all.
So we're now the 24th of July. So it's basically a week, week to 9 days, something like that.
Yes.
These are the 9 days that scare the coaching staff more than any other time, because this is the last chance to go home before you start the season.
It's true.
When you go home, you can see your parents and be nice and have fun, but that's not what you're really going to do. You're going to see your buddies.
Yes.
You're going to see your girlfriend. You're going to see the people whatever. And this is when when the phone rings at 3 a.m, it ain't good.
This is, that's the other aspect of it, is this is also when the coaches are not around you. You get to see your friends, you don't get to see your coaches. And they don't like that. They don't like that because, around home, around where you're from, you get to see your buddies. And I'm sure everybody's got great friends and all that. But you get to see that guy over there who you've known, and your mom and dad said, don't, be around him and everything. And he sees, boy, here's this kid that's made it to a big SEC program from our little town. And man, I sure would like to latch on to him. So you go over to him, you see him at Piggly Wiggly, or, you see him at the barbecue place and everything. He says, they're messing you over at that school. I'm just telling you, you could make it big. You can go to, Notre Dame. I know somebody at Notre Dame. I could give them a call for you, and man, I could have you at Notre Dame next year and and all this. For a cut, you could earn a whole lot more NIL money. They're making thousands and thousands of ticket sales off of you, and they ain't paying you near your worth. I can get you, this amount of money from that school. Just leave it with me. I'll make a couple phone calls. And you can't do that, Warren. You cannot do that. All of a sudden, that guy says, come on over. I've got some stuff over here. We'll relax. And that stuff he's going to give you is not legal, and you can get caught, and, you all this kind of stuff. And after that, when you finally get back and you have report day, and again, they've been around all summer long. The coaches have been around them. The strength and conditioning coaches have been working them, everything. But that is the one period, you're right, their last period before they have to really buckle down and get down to business of winning football games at the big SEC institution, if they can get you through the last week before report day. Yeah.
All right, Barry. We are now at week 0 is August 29th, I believe.
The very first games, if you want to look.
Saturday, August 29th. So we are now 5 weeks away from the start of the season.
Technically, Thursday, August 27th, Warren.
Is there a game?
Thursday. Is there a game? Long Island at North Dakota, Warren.
LIU. LIU.
Western Illinois hosting Northwestern College of Iowa. Gardner Webb at Austin P. Hello.
All right, Barry, where's Gardner Webb?
in Boiling Springs, North Carolina.
It sure is.
I've broadcast from there several times.
That's why, Lenore, anything with a dash.
Yeah.
I love the schools with a dash.
Yes. Gardner Webb, Tennessee Martin.
Lenore Ryan.
Yes. North
Wisconsin
Carolina.
Stevens
A&T.
Point. Wisconsin Stevens Point.
Yes. A Division II power, by the way. Friday, August 28th, it's Idaho at Cal Poly and Weber State, not Weber, Weber State at Northern Colorado. The first, with no disrespect intended, the first real game in most of your consciousness is the Aer Lingus Classic, which is in Dublin. It's North Carolina versus TCU on Saturday, August 29th at 11 o'clock in the morning. That's the one that Notre Dame has played in, Florida State's played in. This one is going to be Notre Dame versus TCU. That's the first one that you will look at and say, all right, here we go. And then we're right at it again.
The logistics of that game, I remember last year when they played that game, they talked about what they had to ship. Like they have to ship all the Gatorade, Powerades, all the stuff they just don't have. Sports drinks, all the things you have for a game.
The protein shakes,
Equipment. I mean, it is a major undertaking. And frankly, I don't know why they do it. Because you get back and you're tired. You're tired as hell.
Yeah.
Right.
Those games, I do wonder about their value. I mean, the value of it is that's the first game. And Notre Dame and TCU could be playing in they could be playing in Carroll High School's football stadium, and people will watch it.
Oh gosh, yes. I mean, it's crazy, but the fans like it. I mean, people want to spend a bunch of money and go to Ireland and put a golf trip on the front end or the back end, and that's all good and dandy.
Yeah.
All right, Barry, I'm going to tell you, I checked out while we got a little filler here. I checked out the Troy schedule.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
And I'm going to highlight a game for you that you probably would not think is one to highlight. But Gurn Jr., there are very few people he dislikes in the world, but one is the opposing coach on the Troy schedule.
Okay, can I guess? The fact Gurn Jr. doesn't like somebody, that's a little foreign.
Well, there's a reason. I'm going to give you the reason.
All right, let me see. Yeah, look. He
went to the football camp, and he thought it was going to be one of these prospect camps where you run a few drills, get a T-shirt, and get your picture made with the coach.
Yeah.
It was a full basically 6-hour practice, college practice.
I've got two guesses in order of my surety. Number one would have to be Butch Jones at Arkansas State.
No, not Arkansas State.
He used to be the coach at Tennessee. I know Gurn Jr. played college football in Tennessee.
No.
Georgia Southern head coach Clay Helton?
No. It's going to be Utah State Aggie coach Bronco Mendenhall. When Gurn Jr. was in high school up in Virginia, he went to a UVA prospect camp.
Bronco Mendenhall was the coach at Virginia.
And the D-line person in charge of the D-line, I can't remember his name. You may come up with his name.
Gurn Jr. probably knows his name. He got it.
He ran him in. I was sitting there watching. I took him and I watched. And the guy was the head coach at East Carolina. He might have been at I can't remember. He's a very large man. He may have been at NC State too. It wasn't Huff. It was somebody, I can't remember his name, but he was the head coach. He was the D-line coach.
Right.
And so what they did is they practiced for like 2 hours, took a 30-minute break, and had 2 more hours. He looked at me after the first 2 hours. It's like, this is not what I signed up for. I said, I don't care. You're finishing. And And he finished. That's one of the most proudest moments in my life as a parent that he finished. It was the most brutal 4.5, 5 hours ever. And it was Bronco Mendenhall. At the end of the camp, he stands up and says, "Look, guys, I know y'all probably expected this was going to be like something where you ran a few drills, we timed you and blah, blah, blah. And you showed, we looked at you and got your picture made and got a t-shirt. And this was in pads. They were in pads.
At camp?
Yes,
full pads?
Camp. Yeah, they didn't only shoulder pads and helmet.
Oh.
Anyway, so it was brutal. So when Utah State comes along,
that's week 3, by the way.
He's going to be he's pulling big for the Trojans over the Aggies. So.
Okay, just for effect here, how old was Gurn Jr.?
He was a senior, rising senior in high school.
I guess.
Rising senior or rising junior. I can't remember. One of the two. Yeah.
Huh.
So 17 years old, 16, 17 years old. So
wow.
Getting his brains getting beat up at a fun camp. This is great. It's at Charlottesville. It's close to where I am. Yeah. Wow.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Not good.
This is how old I am. I went to the Doug Dickey football camp for 2 years at the University of Florida. We didn't put a pad on. We're out there playing flag football. I got a pick 6 one time. I was 11 years old, and we got to stay in the University of Florida athletic dorms, which is Yon Hall, which is at the football stadium. When I went to Gainesville for the regionals with baseball, Coach Summerall gave us a tour of everything. God bless him. And he took us back by Yon Hall, and I got to see my old room where I stayed at as an 11-year-old. That was fun.
Well, one of my highlights as a kid, Barry, is going to the Sonny Smith basketball camp. And when I was 11, 12, 13, something years old, and Jerry West came, he was part of the camp.
Oh.
It was a big deal.
Oh, my gosh.
And I think he made like 100 free throws in a row while he did his talk. So that's the memory I have.
Big time. Now,
Sonny Smith basketball camp.
Oh, love me some.
Anyway,
that's good stuff. Well, let's take a moment here and kind of set you up a little bit. Later on, we will have the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. I'm not sure, Warren. I'm not sure whether we're going to have the Phantom's Daily Dog again. John's not with us today. It was a late word, and Warren's good enough to give us, the support and all that for being here. We appreciate that. But a Phantom's Daily Dog?
What would be a dog? I mean, you've just got MLB, right? Is MLS back in?
Yeah, LAFC had a big win the other day over Real Salt Lake.
So Barry, I have not been on since the World Cup has ended, and I just want to tell you,
love it.
It was fantastic.
Love it.
It was.
I didn't realize this, but coming up, Benjamin Watson, he's a big soccer guy.
Okay.
I mean, he's about 260 pounds. He was an NFL tight end and a good one. Man, he can talk some soccer. It was outstanding. I loved it. Erling Haaland is my guy. I love him. Of course, I love Messi. Everybody does. But the only thing bad about the World Cup was the championship game, the World Cup final. I watched every second of it, and I love soccer. That was not the best representation to try to grow the sport in the United States when Argentina doesn't even have a single shot.
So did you watch the third place game?
The third place game was the best game of the whole tournament.
It was so freaking good. It was so good.
Heck yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It was like an arena. It's like an arena soccer league game.
Yeah,
it's like they were knocking it in there. So
I loved it. Love the World Cup for sure. When we come back, Benjamin Watson from SEC Media Days. John helped conduct the interview as well. We are live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road, Prattville, Alabama, it's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey,
I got your Bud Light.
Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light.
What I miss?
I have no idea.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet.
Welcome back here to SEC Football Media Days 2026, and we are joined by SEC Network's Benjamin Watson. Georgia fans know this guy.
Oh, yeah.
NFL fans know this guy as well. Benjamin, thanks for joining us.
Man, great to be with you guys.
You
having a good week so far?
It's awesome. It's been good. We've been looking forward to this for sure.
Yeah.
This is always for us. We kind of, and we've been doing this a long time. I think, we've been together for 30 years on this, and it kind of flips the script into the fall. What about your calendar? I mean, I know you're so busy doing a lot of other stuff, but you come to media days, and I mean, do you kind of get the eye black under your eyes? Do you kind of get the game face on?
I had not told this story yet, and I planned to tell it when I was on air, and I just forgot to because I'm trying to remember all these new names of everybody going everywhere. But I literally had a dream like 3 days ago before I came here. I think it was Saturday night. I had this dream, and in the dream, I was trying to get ready for a football game. And I walk into the locker room to get changed, but I come back out with my shoulder pads on and a polo shirt over my shoulder pads and some slacks. And I'm out there warming up before a game with like dress clothes on with shoulder pads on. And so, yes, my mind is flipped into football mode, but my mind is also telling me that you're not a football player anymore. You're doing some football stuff, but you got a suit on.
Was that polo shirt Georgia red? Do you dream in color?
I do dream in color, but it was not Georgia red. I think it was more of a taupe, kind of a brown color. But it's been a crazy summer. I mean, how about the World Cup? I mean, honestly.
Are you a fan?
I watched every single day. I missed one day. I missed one day of games, and it was incredible. I mean, I felt like I'm in like withdrawal a little bit because there's no games.
If there's anybody in the United States who I would give the responsibility of stopping Erling Haaland for, it would be, I mean, I'd put Benjamin out there and I'd say, look, keep that guy, from Norway, keep him from scoring.
Well, some amazing storylines.
It was good.
Yeah.
Glad you brought
and
that.
And just all the international visitors that were here in the U.S. watching soccer. It was just unbelievable.
Yeah. I grew up playing the game till about 9th grade. Then I started playing football. So it's always been, I've always enjoyed the game, liked the game, just haven't played in a while. So I think part of it was this awakening and reminding me how much I enjoy the game. Now, all the flopping and laying on the ground, it ain't for me, but it's part of the culture, so I just try to enjoy it and not worry too much about that.
I love it.
What do you see upcoming in the SEC this year at the top? Knowing what you know and talking with who you've talked to, who are the maybe 2 or 3 real contenders that you've been able to differentiate?
I think that's the biggest question. I mean, the overarching question, I feel the looming kind of question is, what SEC team is going to make an appearance in the national championship, much less win a national championship. We haven't done it in 3 years. Haven't had a team in the race in 3 years, quite honestly. There are some contenders. I mean, just some good rosters. Obviously, Georgia has been there. They won the SEC last year. They're built. They got a returning quarterback. You got to have that. Got to have a veteran presence at quarterback. They got a strong run game. Got a strong defense. They're built that way. As odd as it may sound, I feel like LSU has a high ceiling, but perhaps a low floor, just depending on like how those guys come together. You bring in 41 transfer players. Yeah, Lane Kiffin has done it before, but this is a new place and a new era. Who knows how those guys gel together? But they have the talent. I mean, I look at the team in Oxford. I look at Ole Miss. They played very well last year, and in my opinion, as far as a backfield goes, a quarterback and running back combo, there's nobody better than Chambliss and Kewan Lacey. And so there are several contenders in my mind. I think for the SEC, Sankey brought up a good point. Commissioner Sankey brought up a good point. We have been very successful in a lot of in football, yes, but also a lot of other sports. I mean, it's not – we look at it through a football lens, but in reality, from a national championship perspective, the SEC is well positioned in a lot of sports. Now it's time for us to really acclimate to the new era of NIL, transfer portal, and make that push into the playoff.
Is the SEC stronger, Benjamin, now that they have 9 conference games? Several coaches that have been through here this week don't really seem to like it. What are your thoughts about the 9 games?
Yeah, there's some mixed reviews.
Yeah.
Somebody asked Commissioner Sankey about it when he was up there speaking, and his answer was, well, the coaches are here, so they support it. I was like, I don't know. They're here, but I don't know how they feel about it. I don't know if it's a matter of us being better positioned or stronger. It will bring about more competitive games. And I think from a fan's perspective, being a fan of the sport now, you enjoy watching conference games in general. The non-conference games, unless they're from another Power Four, just don't bring the same type of attention as the other ones. And so from a product perspective, I think having the extra game is important for the conference. Now, the question remains, how will the committee view those games? And that's all subjective. My contention is always, if you want to advance into the playoff, you have to win your games. Like if you won 9 games or you won 10 games, then don't make the decision. Go win the games.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and because I don't like coaches going, well, that could be another loss on our schedule. I'm thinking, no, man, it could be another win.
Exactly, it could be another win. It could definitely be another win. Yeah. But the coaches are thinking about the grind of the SEC and the thinking about what's going to happen in the postseason, and rightly so. But in the NFL, this is what frustrates me. I'm to be honest with you guys, because it's just us talking.
Yeah.
What frustrates me about college football, I love college football, but I don't like our selection process when it comes to the postseason. What I love about the NFL is I don't care if you were, 9 and 8. I guess they play 17 games. You're 9 and 8. If you win your division, you're going to the playoff, and nobody says anything about it because you won what you had to win. In college football, it's so subjective. Somebody is picking. They're depending upon what the team you beat, who they beat, what's their schedule look like. There's all these metrics, and inevitably, those who are on the verge of making it are going to be upset. We saw it this year with Vanderbilt. We saw it with Tennessee. Yeah. They're going to be upset, and so that's going to be part of it. That just chaps me, honestly.
Let me ask you one X's and O's question. With all the resurgence in the NFL, so much. Let me stop because we are running out of time. Let me change in something if I can get away from an X's and O's question. You have been you all the time talk about your blessings. You were fortunate enough to play in the league for a long time. You got a wonderful family. You talk about the blessing of that. One of the people that we have seen, and you're never shy to talk about it, you not only live your faith, but you have several foundations to work with NFL players. You and your wife have spent so much time using your platform to talk about your faith.
Yeah.
Why is that important to you to use this platform, and how does that speak towards your belief structure?
Yeah, the Bible says that we are new creations once we, through repentance and faith, follow Christ. And so we don't carry our faith with us as a suitcase or an addendum onto what we do. The Bible says we're new people created from the inside out. And so everything we do is a form of worship. Everything we do is a form of ministry, whether it is speaking to you guys about college football, whether it's doing pro athlete ministry, which me and my wife are involved with the organization called Pro Athletes Outreach, whether it's through family work that we do, and even inside of our own home. I mean, we're charged as parents, as fathers and mothers, to be the priests, prophets, protectors, providers in our homes, and to teach our children about the Lord. And so it's something that flows out of us, and it's something that we take very seriously, and we see every opportunity that we have as a missional gospel opportunity to spread the love and hope of Christ in whatever way we can.
What a great way to wrap up this interview.
When you see Benjamin Watson and his work on the SEC network, which we love, you also know there's a great deal of substance behind the man behind the microphone. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, we're back with more from SEC Football Media Days after this quick timeout.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
In sports, if you think joy only happens after you win, think again. Look at the world's most successful athletes like Serena Williams, Brooks Koepka, and Alex Morgan. They don't spend all their days grinding away. They take time to enjoy themselves, like getting together with friends over a Michelob Ultra, because they know that happiness is the key to winning, and that joy is the whole game, not just the end game. Michelob Ultra. 95 calories, 2.6 grams of carbs. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This summer, Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air is on a Jurassic hunt for the oldest HVAC systems and water heaters in town. If your system is a fossil, now's your chance. Replace it between June 1st and July 31st, and you could win big. We're giving $2,500 back for the oldest HVAC systems and $1,000 back for the oldest water heater. Even if you don't win, you still score major savings on your new HVAC system, water heater, generator, and/or garage door. Don't let your systems go extinct. Call Dixie, and it's done.
Back again live here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville. The weekend is coming upon us. It's one of the last weekends before school starts back again locally. And don't forget the Red, White, and Boom sales event continues here throughout the end of July at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Lot full of 2026s, the Jeep Cherokee Laredo, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Ram 1500, the Tungsten is amazing. The Ram 3500 Bighorn, the 2026 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon, and so many more. Come make your deal. Nobody stocks more, nobody sells more than Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville. Warren Matthews alongside John. Hopefully we'll be back on Monday. I'm Barry McKnight. The guys are talking about Frank Sinatra. They're talking about Deep Purple. They've got their own little community over there. Chris the Bammer says, hey, is there going to be a Phantom? Chris, we just talked about it. Instead of saying biscuit, instead of saying belly, listen in. John's not here, and there's really not a lot. Unless Warren wants to take a flyer on the WNBA, the All-Star break. No, the All-Star break is underway in the WNBA. Unless he wants to take a chance on the WNBA All-Star game, or the Tour de France, or it's just
Barry,
not that much.
Barry, we could we could take a flyer on Major League Pickleball that is being played this week in Chicago, and to what was interesting, I was listening to on my Sirius XM SEC Media Days coverage. There was a former Florida Gator quarterback who was leading Media Days to go play semi-professional pickleball in Chicago, and that would be Heisman Trophy winner Danny Werfel. He is.
I almost got my picture taken with him the other day.
He's very good. I have a buddy over in Atlanta. Shout out to my man G Daddy Greg Harley, who's in Atlanta, plays at a high level. He has actually played with Danny Werfel and played with Cam Newton in Atlanta.
Cam Newton plays pickleball?
He does. He's very competitive. He's actually not.
Well, he's got a little bit of extra time now, unfortunately.
Well, he does. And I jokingly said, "How did you know it was Cam Newton?" And he said, "Well, the hairdo gave it away."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, did it fall out of place while you were playing?" He said, "No, he had it. He had the hatches battened down, so it was all good." Yeah. But Danny's a huge player, and so there's and Barry, not to go in too much of a hole, but there's two different things in pickleball. You've got tournaments where individuals play singles and doubles,
right?
Gender and mixed.
Right.
And then you have team competitions where they're basically 2 men, 2 women teams. And that has taken off. And they have a league. They have franchises all over the country, multi-million-dollar franchises, believe it or not. People are they're doing trades and stuff like that. And they have Pickleball TV, which is now on YouTube TV. So you can watch it all the time. So it's on, and you get into the people, you get into the teams. There's a lot of good back and forth if you're into it. Now you have to be into it. It's an acquired taste. Now you're a degenerate if you're watching the PPA Saigon, where they have these tournaments from overseas. That's where you just don't have anything else to watch.
Vietnamese pickleball.
Or any kind of Asian pickleball.
Well, I just, pickleball, we've talked about it before. They have a huge facility that's opened up in Opelika, Alabama, believe it.
Absolutely. Play all the time. It's the greatest place in the state.
Somebody was telling me that pickleball has peaked and is dying. And I said, no. I mean, it was growing so fast and everybody loves it. It's great for, for getting out and light exercise and all that kind of stuff. And it can be competitive and all that. But it's market normalization is what I call it.
Yes, that's right. It is leveled off. The new thing is Padel, P-A-D-E-L. Okay? It is a billion-dollar industry overseas. And I got to play it down in the Dominican Republic. And you're in a cage, basically, and it's a big paddle, and it's a hot tennis ball. And I'll say this. I would play it all day, every day, if I could. It's that much fun.
Padel. That sounds like the guy. That sounds like the first name of the guy. Well, no, the guy who would win the spelling bee.
You heard it here on Longshore McKnight. Domestically, it's the next big thing.
All right, okay. I'm Googling it here.
It's huge.
Combines elements of tennis, squash, and badminton. Typically played in doubles on an enclosed glass and mesh court, roughly a third the size of a tennis court.
Yep. I'm just saying it's the next. We don't need to get bogged down in it, but it is the next thing. Whatever the next thing is,
probably it's Padel.
Anyway.
Okay.
Padel. All right.
Got it. All right.
It's it is what it is. So have you gotten your sea legs back under you after your travels, Barry? I mean, I know you're a world traveler, but
it's funny because we get into August, and August is when I get back into the grind of football because Troy baseball had such an epic run into the College World Series. My summer has been shorter, and of course, just getting back from SEC Media Days. You know, I got to tell you, I'm tired. I mean, I'm tired, but I'm tired. That's usually my default emotion or my default condition for about 10 months out of the year. I'm just not usually tired at the end of July, but you know, it's one of those things like Ryan McGee said from Marty McGee earlier in the program. This is a get to kind of a profession I'm in rather than a have to. So I'm planning on doing some sleeping this weekend. I'm telling you that. That's for sure.
Barry, I can never trust Gurn Jr. when he goes out of town. Okay, and let me tell you where I'm going.
Good reason, yeah.
Let me tell you where I'm going with this. So,
okay,
Gurn,
I got your back. I'm not. Yeah. You know what happens in Tampa State.
Y'all wrap up on Wednesday. The flight he has back to Nashville's at 4:55. Okay. Being the person I am, I'm like, well, there's enough time. Go check out. Get to the airport. There's another flight. I can maybe fly standby and get home earlier. That's not how he thinks. He says, I'm not doing that. And I said, that's fine. Whatever. It's it's your life, whatever. Then he sends me a FaceTime and says, this is what I'm doing. So did you walk down by the Riverwalk?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you see the speedboats? The boats?
Oh yeah.
He got one of those little rental boats and went out in the thing, and is it Billionaires Row or whatever? They've got all the houses over there. He sends me a FaceTime where he's out on the water, and I'm like, and only you and I could imagine what it was really like. I felt like it was the opening of Miami Vice.
Oh, I thought it was maybe like the speedboat sequence on Live and Let Die. You know.
Well, that with Sheriff
Pepper. You know.
It's not Pusser, but that's Walking Tall. Yeah.
It was
Buford T something
agent on whose side? Yeah. This is the thing, though, Gurn Jr., you cannot do that. You cannot do that and not let me know that, but you cannot do that without some sort of camera and microphone. And oh my gosh, get you one of those GoPros that you put on your hat and oh my gosh.
He said he was going to go see Tom Brady's house that was supposedly his mansion somewhere on the intercoastal. So that's what, and I know he was proud because he FaceTimed his mother as well, which that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. But, Plainsman Preston, it was J.W. Pepper. He was Carl the Floorwalker. J.W. Pepper was a great character actor named Clifton James. He also played in a great baseball movie called 8 Men Out as Charlie Comiskey. He also was one of the few people that was not in MI5 or whatever it's called that was a recurring character on James Bond, because he was in Live and Let Die as, J.W. Pepper, but he was also in that one in Thailand.
Was he a tourist or something?
Yeah, he was a tourist who got caught up in one of the flatboats. I think it might have been Octopussy or something like that, but he was in both of those.
Not to be confused with I'm going to go home and slap your mama in the face. You are the worst. That's from
Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandit. So
yeah, that's Jackie Gleason there. That was
totally not to be confused with that.
Yeah. So we got again the schedule is tough. Dennis Mitchell says, and he's probably right. He says, well, of course, this is the conversation. Plainsman Preston says, did Barry drive while John flew? Yeah, I drove. That was my choice. That was my choice because, I'm from Florida. I got to see a couple of places that I had not seen in a while and everything. So that was my deal. Quick, and it wasn't bad. It was. Dennis Mitchell says, Barry, you look tired. Take it easy.
Man, that's a little. All right. Hey, Gurn Jr., get the filter out for the feed. Okay, we're gonna put one of those filters on. Huh?
Yeah, I need that. Yeah, I was. Well, like I said, it was a very close thing that I got on the air on time today. Like within 5 seconds of the whole thing, I slid in here hot, so it wasn't anybody's fault. I was here in plenty of time. But
Barry's a professional. He's gonna make it happen. That's right. If he had to break a window, he was getting in there. So we're proud of Barry.
Now, also this, just to wrap up the conversation on this, Warren's right. We're not going to get too deep in the woods. Brett from Beauregard says, Barry, to say padel is anything like tennis is like having me hit a free throw and saying I'm like an NBA point guard. All right. I have no idea. Evidently, Brett is a padel guy, but, that's kind of what they're after. They're kind of, people of an older nature can't always go around and play competitive tennis. That's a little bit less taxing and all of that. The schedule is such, and I've got my trusty Phil Steele magazine. You're looking at the college schedule, and you're right. I didn't think about it in this context, but if you look at it like from the very, very start, the very first time intercollegiate teams are playing against each other, that is in 34 days. Thursday, August 27th. Here it is, July the 24th. August the 27th, it's getting there. Now, you're not going to be able to watch any of those on anything other than, ESPN Plus. But Saturday, August 29th is when it really gets going. Alabama State plays against Southern up in Birmingham. NC State versus Virginia. That is going to be on ESPN.
Is that a non-conference game?
It is, because it was originally supposed to be in Rio de Janeiro, but they moved it back from Rio for probably the same reason why we can't figure out why they are playing that game in Dublin, Ireland. But that is a conference game. And despite Gurn Jr. having a bad experience at the University of Virginia, as detailed on this show, I kind of think that's going to be a good game. NC State and Virginia both ought to be pretty solid. And then the next week, it's going to be a busy week. It's going to be busy before then. Everybody's pointing around September the 5th and all of that, but there's plenty before then. Memphis at UNLV.
We're a month and a half from full bore, just everything to the wall.
Yeah.
Football, 6 weeks. And
cannot wait.
Isn't that strange to think? I mean, it was just the other day. Bama was getting their ass kicked by Indiana.
Boy, it does not feel that way. It feels like that was forever ago. I know Bama fans keep bringing it up over and over and over again. It was Alabama's last game, and their season ended. Well, probably to be real, their season ended about the first quarter of that game, but it ended afterwards. And Indiana still had 2-3 more games to play. So the college football season ended well before then, but it feels like forever ago, except that Bama fans keep bringing it up as though that was the content of the entire season. It totally blew out of the water, Warren. A very impressive comeback win in the college football playoff against Oklahoma, an SEC championship game, a 9-win season during the regular year and all that. So it feels to you like it was a long time ago? I mean, it feels to you like it was, if they didn't keep bringing it up over and over again and turn the page, I'm afraid that they're part of the problem from that point.
Barry, let me ask you this about Bama fan, and I'm one of them. Do you think they just want the world to get back to normal? In other words, Ole Miss to suck again, Indiana to lose 3 or 4 games, LSU to flounder.
Yeah.
Things like that. They need some other people to be hurting so that they can deflect their all the feelings they have going on right now.
Nobody is feeling sorry for Alabama. Nobody is feeling bad. And there are Alabama fans who are feeling sorry for themselves. Well, we don't have Saban anymore. Well, we don't like our coach. Well, our offensive coordinator doesn't run the ball. They're feeling sorry for themselves. And, that's not a valid emotion. It is not shared by the vast majority of the American sporting public. You won 9 games in the regular season. You made the SEC championship game. You made the college football playoff. Wah. Get over it. Now you have joined the rest of us. Saban is done. You don't automatically just line up and just blow everybody out of the water just by strength of talent.
I haven't heard anybody talking about this, but I think the biggest game of the year for Alabama next year is game 2.
That would be
game 2.
That would be Kentucky, right?
No. I'm sorry. FSU at home. I think that's the biggest game of the year.
FSU's going to stink, Lauren. They're going to be.
What if you don't beat FSU?
I don't think that's legitimate.
I know, but nobody. You got to beat FSU.
Week 3.
Week 3.
They struggle. It's East Carolina, then Kentucky, then Florida State in Tuscaloosa, 2:30 ABC. If they struggle against Kentucky on the road and they carry that over and they don't beat Florida State, then yeah. But man, there's no way they don't beat Florida State. Florida State's horrendous.
Norvell get another year?
Oh, I don't know. I thought that was going to be his year when he beat Alabama, and it wasn't. If he beats Alabama, he lasts the year. I'll say that. But let's be honest. That ain't happening. Not a bit. When we come back, it's the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel, which I hope includes a hidden video of Gurn out there paddling around Billionaires Row in Tampa on his spare time. We're live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road, Prattville, Alabama. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. Many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Grab some Buds!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Drive away in a Toyota Crown Platinum or win your share of $25,000 in free play during Victoryland Casino's Crown and $25K free play giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Visit our Players Club and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, off I-85 exit 22 in Shorter, Alabama. Drawings July 10th and 11th. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Couple of good things in the chat wheel again. I'm not discounting Warren's opinion. If Alabama does not beat Florida State, they're in trouble. Daniel says Malzahn is gone. Bama beats FSU by 30 in tea time. Florida State is going to be epically bad. Here's a couple of things from the week. Florida State's going to be horrible. Who did we talk to? I think it might have been Tony Barnhart, who said for Auburn, watch out for Baylor. Baylor's going to be terrible. Baylor's going to be awful this year. I don't know what he's thinking of. So, believe me now, or listen to me now and believe me later. Those are, those games, those upsets are not happening. Time now for the Victoryland 777 topic wheel, brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22, I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. 6 topics. Warren nor I have any idea what they are. We'll take them as they come along and get to it. We begin with spreading out. Spreading out. Okay, this is going to be good video. This is aerial view, a drone of a school of fish.
With a shark. Is that a shark?
This looked like an aerial view, an aerial representation of Lane Kiffin walking through SEC Media Days.
There you go.
That's what it looked like. Now, wow. The shark must not be hungry. I thought sharks were always hungry. Because that shark should be going to town right now.
Oh, there he goes. He just got one.
There you go. I mean,
there he goes.
He can take his time on that. Say that's good video. The massive school of fish parted and a great white.
A great white.
This is in Australia, Jervis Bay. This is Australian salmon, which makes sense now. Because the salmon, they're not scattering because, they got to get upstream and they got to spawn. I've seen all those videos from David Attenborough to know what goes on there. So, yeah, that should be like shark feeding frenzy right there.
Sometimes you got too much. It's like going to a Barnhill's buffet. You've gone through the line 2 or 3 times and you're past the pudding. And you filled it up too much.
I want to get my money's worth, and I really ought to try that crab bisque over there. Even though I'm about to pop, it's there. I paid for it. I got to eat it. That buffets will wreck.
One of my favorite tricks to play on people at a buffet is that they'll take their plate back, and I said state law requires you to get a new plate. And they're like, really? And so they put their plate down and they go back and get a fresh plate. So
they're not going to run you in. You'll never see somebody up there in front of the camera, saying, 6'4", the offense took a dirty plate to the buffet. That's not. But it is gross. They don't need to do it. Whatever you have to do to keep them.
I will say, Barry, my favorite buffet item is at Orion's Steakhouse buffet, and they have the old public school rolls. And that may not, y'all probably didn't have those down in Florida, but we had the public school rolls with these big, tall, yeasty rolls. And if they made too many, they stick them out, and you'd see all the fat kids like me go up and try and get an extra one after lunch. So
shout out to Reds in outside of Grady.
Little schoolhouse.
The old schoolhouse there. They make you put on the little plastic mitt whenever you're going through the deal, which I'll do. Anyway,
I like that.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
All right, let's see what we've got. We are going with, this is going to stop on blue. This will be
tough start.
All right.
Kind of like today, Barry. A little tough start. But you rallied.
Got it in. We didn't miss a moment of it.
What we got
this
here?
Is on Twitter. What is this?
This is an own goal, I think. Watch this.
Oh, the MLS?
Yep. His own goal.
Again,
He kicked it's
it's
own
Miami.
goal.
This is Inter Miami. Messi plays on that team, but they're giving him 3 weeks off. He whiffed on it. Oh, it's not even really an own goal. Did he even touch it?
Dude,
watch this guy. Watch the guy in green. Shot, not even a bit. What are you doing? This guy is getting paid to be a goaltender?
He might have had a mini stroke.
I could have done that. Oh my gosh. Did he have a seizure? It's awful.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
well,
bad.
it's actually better than that. This is Chicago versus Inter Miami. Inter Miami, for some reason, wears pink. They're without Messi. And so they figured, get this old guy over here. Since Messi's not playing, we might get him to his pension or something like that. That's awful. That is a tough start.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
Yeah. And, in soccer, a goal is like 2 touchdowns. So, that's automatically giving up a 2 touchdown lead. Back to the topic wheel here. 2 in.
4 to go.
We gotta pick up the pace a little bit.
Here we go. Not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal.
Who got dealt?
Oh, yeah. We talked about this yesterday. Mendoza, number 1 overall pick. He had not signed yet. Ty Simpson hadn't signed with the Rams. I think the top 4 quarterback picks, none of them had signed. And we knew it was going to be close. It's all about deferred money or bonus or da-da-da. 4 years, $57.27 million. And he was the last one to sign. He's in a great situation. A lot of times
he's in a great situation.
You get ruined sometimes by throwing a quarterback out there who is not ready. But yeah, he's got Kirk Cousins. He'll be the starter. Cousins is the perfect mentor for Mendoza. I think Mendoza is going to be a really great player. You know what, though, Warren? I think Ty Simpson's going to be an NFL star. I think he's going to be a guy that will take up the mantle after Matt Stafford retires. People don't see that about either one of those guys. I think Mendoza is going to be fantastic, but I think Ty Simpson will as well.
I've read a couple articles and heard some interviews about Fernando, how he's like Saban. He has to know everything about everybody he's going to be meeting with.
Yeah.
So he went to the Heisman and had Indiana SID folks give him background information on all the former Heisman winners. So he'd know who they were, where they're from, all that kind of stuff. You don't see that. You don't see that in athletes today. And that's a level of detail that I'm rooting for the guy. And look, the Raiders are a dumpster fire.
Go but up.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I'm glad you updated that one, Gurn Jr., because we talked about it yesterday. He has signed. He's one of my favorites.
I'll say this, Barry. There we go. I was out there with Gurn Jr. in Las Vegas last fall for a concert, and we were out there on that Sunday, and the Raiders tickets are exorbitant, and the reason, and they're terrible. Everybody wants to come in, all the other teams' fans, to Vegas to watch the game. They have this great stadium, and so it's like half other team every time.
It's great. It's great for ticket sales. It's great for the Raiders' bottom line. Not so great for the home field advantage.
No.
Yeah.
All right. Spin it away.
There we go. Move it to. We'll go with, this will be Give It Back. Give It Back.
Give it back.
Oh, yeah. You can keep the foul balls. What's this? This is Yankees Pirates. Shades of Moises Alou. Yankees Pirates rookie Esmeralda Valdez playing right field, Yankee Stadium. It's a short porch in right field. Yankees win it. They shut out the Pirates. Okay. Fly ball. Again, it's a short porch in right. Valdez goes over. Fan can keep the ball. Valdez can't play, though, without, he says, hey, man, little help with the glove. Hey. He lost it going over. And he says.
That's where you see somebody stick it under the shirt and start running out.
That's Yankee Stadium, where, I mean, they got some people who would do that, right? I mean, that guy,
Somebody should have poured a beer down into the finger holes of the glove.
Yes, something like that. Yeah, I am surprised he got it back at that place. Whew, the Bronx. Let's go back to it.
All right, 2 to go.
Here we are. Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Cobbs Ford Road, Prattville, Alabama. We have got snubbed. Is this Major League Baseball Hall of Fame? No. Jesse Minter, who's the new head coach of the Ravens. John Harbaugh is now the coach of the Giants.
He didn't make the top 100 list.
The NFL, I forget 69. Who comes up with it. Yeah, he's number 69 as he enters the 2026 season. He was number 2 last year, I think. He made the top 100, but he was number 69. He was hurt last year. He's a 2-time MVP. 2 years ago was just outstanding. I don't know why people like to root against Lamar. He's a good guy.
He's a good guy, and he's and when he's healthy, he's a unicorn. He's
indefensible. You cannot defend
you just can't.
Guy.
You can't do it. So
yeah, that is a snub, but I wouldn't lose too much sleep over.
I think they're going to be good with Mentor as the coach. All right, last one. Finish it out.
Right. Let's finish it out. Let's make it official. Final one on the Gurn Jr. Victory Land 777 topic wheel. And this is Spider-Man. Please tell me there's somebody wearing a Spider-Man outfit at a place they don't want. Yeah, okay. Spider-Man superhero jumps across lanes of traffic, helps a guy in a wheelchair. All right, guy with a wheelchair having a hard time. You can see him, trying to galloping across there. I mean, you would help. I would help. I'd say,
absolutely.
Help. I'd be glad to help you out there. This guy, Christopher Hellenthal, let's give him his due. Why in the world Christopher Hellenthal in Jonesboro? I guess it's not Jonesboro, Arkansas, is it? Jonesboro, Georgia, maybe? Why? Okay, he's getting out of the Jeep, which you can get right here at Stivers. Spider-Man. All right. So why? It's a good story in and of itself.
That is one of the best.
Is he dressed like Spider-Man?
Well, some people like their costumes, Barry, and let's don't judge. Don't be a hater on the people that like to wear their superhero costumes.
Well, you like Spider-Man? That's a good story for you. You like that Jeep that he got out of to help that man? You can get that here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge.
What a great segue
in Prattville. Great to be out here. You need to be out here sometime this weekend. If you're even thinking about a new vehicle, they have got what you want on the lot, guaranteed. That's our show for today. And hopefully John will be back on Monday. Say a little prayer for him and his family. Warren, good enough to get in. Warren Matthews, our producer, Gurn Jr. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.